Hi, and welcome to this Power Platform Real World Stories session. My name is Samir Bhangar. I'm from the PowerCat team at Microsoft. We're a customer advisory team within the Power Platform Engineering Division. It's my pleasure today to introduce two teams from EY who will talk about how they've used Power Platform to rapidly automate complex enterprise grade business scenarios. To start with, I'd like to welcome Anbu Anbarasu, a low code services lead within EY. Hello, Anbu, and we'd love to hear a little bit about your story and journey with Microsoft Power Platform.
Sure. Thank you, Samir. Thanks for this opportunity to share our perspective on Power Platform. My name is Anbu Anbarasu. I lead the low-code services team within EY Client Technology. We are responsible for delivering solutions on top of Power Platform, Office 365, and Dynamics 365 for our client-facing and revenue-generating solutions. Today, we are going to review a loan forgiveness application that we developed for our financial services service line. It's called the Paycheck Protection Program, and it's part of the COVID application that we delivered recently. Let's talk a little bit about EY. EY is one of the big four accounting firms. We have over 300,000 employees operating in over 150 countries. We've delivered solutions to our clients, and there are about 1 million client users that are using our solutions. Not everybody on Power Platform, but this is the total count of all of the solutions that we have delivered for our clients. We are one of the top 3 Azure and Office 365 consumers, so very close partnership with Microsoft, and literally all of our 300,000 employees are enabled for creating Power Apps applications. Today, although every employee can create applications, the solution that I'm going to be reviewing is more of a pro developer use case where we delivered a very complex solution leveraging multiple components of Power Platform and in a record amount of time due to the COVID situation. Today, we're going to talk about the PPP solution. It stands for Paycheck Protection Program. It was created as part of the CARES Act by the US government for the relief for small business owners. Any small business owner could go into a bank and apply for a PPP loan. And as long as they can prove what those loan amounts were used for, that loan amount will be guaranteed by the government and paid back to the banks on behalf of the borrower. The Small Business Administration continued to make changes to the requirements and qualification and eligibility criteria for who can be forgiven for the loan amount. So since those changes were constantly happening, many banks were struggling to get the loan forgiveness application submitted to SBA and get the loan money back. So EY saw an opportunity there, and we created a managed services solution leveraging Power Platform that could enable or simplify borrowers to submit the evidence that they need to forgive the loan amount, the banks to process those loans, and also for EY to be able to review on behalf of the banks and submit the entire application to SBA. So we created a solution that is very simple and easy to use for any small business owner because they have different technology backgrounds. Some of them are not very technically savvy, and also, the laptops and the infrastructure they may use will vary widely. So this is a public-facing website that we had to create. It shows the complexity of the roles and the overall journey of the program. It starts with the borrowers getting the loan, and they are responsible for providing evidence in terms of what the loan amount was used for. And there are several different actors from EY as well as from the banks playing several different roles in terms of processing the loan forgiveness application. It starts with the preparer who actually does the first level of review and make sure the package is up and ready to go. Then even this is a very simplified version of it. There are 5 different levels of reviews that happen. And then the closer and servicer go and close out the loan forgiveness application and submit it to SBA for clearance. The reason why there are so many different roles and responsibilities is because the entire PPP program was put together very quickly by the government to help the small business owners. So there weren't hard set underlying underwriting rules that were put forth. So it was prone to fraud. There were several different abuse of PPP loans. That's the reason why we had to introduce a lot of manual review of the process as such. Let's start with the solution architecture. At the heart of the solution is Power Platform. We are literally leveraging every aspect of Power Platform. We created a Canvas app as a POC. That took us about 3 weeks to convince our stakeholders that Power Platform is the right approach here. We are leveraging Power Apps Portal for the borrower experience. We are leveraging model-driven application for the banks as well as our EY internal teams to process the loans. Everything is stored within our Dataverse. We have several custom entities and forms built out. We are also having Power Automate for major integrations with several different third-party components. Once we have a contract signed with the bank, it starts off with the loan data being uploaded to the SFTP site. There is a Power Automate flow that constantly holds that folder. And once there is a file, it immediately injects it into a staging table within Dataverse. We process the loan information and send out an email for the borrowers to come and register themselves. We do that through a connector for Power Automate for SendGrid to enable the emails to go out from the bank domain and not from EY. Once the borrower comes in and registers themselves, they will be able to review the loan amount and start the forgiveness application, and they can start uploading evidences. We automatically call our DocIntel service. It's built on Azure Cognitive Services. So the DocIntel service automatically understands whether it's a W-2 or whether it's a mortgage statement, extract the information and dumps it into Dataverse. We also have integrations with payroll providers such as ADP and Paycheck for verifying the employee payroll details. We also created a calculation engine. It's basically an API to calculate the loan forgiveness amount. We also have integration with DocuSign for getting the packet signed by the borrower. We created a custom SBA API and a custom connector to submit the information to Small Business Administration. We also have integration with ServiceNow for if there is anything that goes wrong. The last thing that we actually developed is an RPA component using Power Automate. We saw a need where there were a lot of tickets being raised where the borrowers wanted to come and change their phone numbers and email IDs. The IDs they would have given or the phone numbers they would have given when they got the loan could be different from the one that they're using now. And there wasn't an API that was available for Azure AD B2C. So we created a RPA bot that literally opens up the B2C interface and makes those changes on a weekly basis. So why Power Platform for a complex solution like this, right? It enabled us to very rapidly prototype the entire user experience through a Canvas app while we were designing. And when many of our competitors were showing wireframes and visual design, we were able to actually provide a working prototype of how the entire user experience will be to the banks. So that was one of the reasons why we won many of the deals, because we were slightly ahead of the competition there. It's also very modular. As I mentioned, the rules and regulations and the business logic kept changing as we were progressing through the solution. So having Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI as separate components and be able to make changes to the particular component and redeploy without actually impacting the rest of the modules was critical for us. From an infrastructure footprint, the stakeholders did not want to spend a lot of investment in terms of getting a highly complex infrastructure done for this. So Power Platform, as you know, it's a SaaS solution, and we were literally, at a click of a button, able to provide an environment for our developers to go and create these applications, integrate, and combine and deliver it. The other reason why we went with Power Platform is the security. We are dealing with PII information such as Social Security. You're dealing with loan data, which is highly secure as well. And with Power Platform, with Common Data Services or Dataverse, we had the industry-leading encryption. You can also bring your own keys for each of the Power Platform environment. And also, everything from a transmission perspective is encrypted as well. And also the ability to do a data-driven architecture and leverage model-driven application for complex business workflows. So, the whole thing came together and we were able to deliver a complex solution in about 3 months from start to finish. And that's one of the biggest power of Power Platform. You can very quickly provision an environment, get the developers to go ahead and create the applications, integrate, and deliver at scale. And we don't have to worry about the solution being globally available. And we were able to ramp up and scale performance as necessary. And those are some of the reasons why we stuck with Power Platform for the solution. Thank you. That's basically what I wanted to share. Over to you, Samir.
Thanks a lot, Anbu. That was just fantastic. I think every time I see you kind of walk through what you've done over here, particularly the complexity of the solution, the level of integration, as a pro code development team, the way you've built that out, as well as the rapid development aspects that you've been able to leverage. It's been really great. So thank you again for sharing that.